So hello guys, welcome to TechPeak again. Today we're doing a basic tutorial on Raspberry Pi multi-boot. So let's get right into it guys. So firstly you need an SD card that is at least 16 gigabytes. It's recommended you have at least 32, but 16 gigabytes should be enough for this what we are going to do today. So firstly you should go to BerryBoot. Let's find 2.0 or something. Go to sourceforge.net and download this image. While the image is going to be installing, so take your SD card, put it into the SD card slot you have it in your PC. If you don't have it, just buy an adapter. So as you can see, I've got the file explorer already popped up. I have some issues because the SD card is not properly formatted, so in just a second we're gonna format the SD card. So what you will need to do is to take File Explorer. You can do this on two ways. That you can go to Manage, Disk Management, and then here you should just search for the disk image, and then you should pick format, or you can simply take a second, just a moment. I don't know, it's not recognizing my card. It might be the USB, it's not compatible. Just a second guys, I need to check for the USB slot. Because this has worked many times. This is the first time that it's actually not working properly. Oh, okay, it's working now. It was the USB 2.1, but this is actually the 2.0 I'm using now. So the thing we're going to have to do is kind of delete all these files. I've already backed up all these files, so don't worry for me. I'm just going to format the drive. I'm going to restore defaults, but this really doesn't matter. The important thing is you have FAT32 right here, and now you have to pick the volume name. So let's go like multiboot slash berryboot. Okay, so multiboot B as multiboot berry. So let's start the formatting. So the drive is formatted now. So the thing you need to do now is to firstly accept this thing you've just downloaded, like open up the zip file. There are two ways, like if you have 7-zip installed, or just a second I can show you this one. You go here, you press download, and you install this application. It will work the same as the current one I'm using. It's called WinRAR. You go right here, you go download, and then you can pick up the version, or 62, 64 or 32-bit, and then you decide which language you want. You just install it. It's going to say that it's not the legal, or it's not the full version, but still you don't need the full version. This one is enough. So the thing we need to do now is to copy all these files over to multiboot. So now we just wait. It's going to take a few seconds. It's not going to be long. So this is kind of it. Now you've installed this part, so let's go right into the booting, shall we? So let's set up the items. The first thing, we need the Raspberry Pi. So let's take it out. So I've got the Raspberry Pi 3B. So the next thing I'm going to set up is the Wi-Fi module. So I have this one because it's USB compatible, like you can plug it right in here. So Now we have the Wi-Fi, the wireless model. It's a bit faster than the one that is already set up inside the Raspberry Pi, so it's better to use this one. So then we need an HDMI cable that I'm going to pull out from my computer. It's right over here. So now I need a USB cable for my mouse and a USB cable for the actual keyboard. So the actual USB for the mouse is already plugged in. You can see it here. So now let's plug in the USB for the mouse, and here side it has the monitor, the HDMI plug. So you plug it in just like this. So now when we have everything set up, we need to take the actual SD card. We're going to have to set up the power for the Raspberry Pi. So let's take the just a normal power cable for your modern mobile phone. You can use like any of these, but I'm using the current charger, the actual Anchor charger, Anchor 20,000 milliamp charger for this, so I can have this wherever I go. So the last thing we need to do is to plug in the SD card. So let's set it up. Firstly I have to put the actual SD card out because I've been running Linux. Actually, I've been running Kali Linux on this machine. So here is the SD card I've set up. I think you can see it says or maybe not. I have, oh okay, it's focusing here. It's 32 gigabytes, as you were able to see back there. So now when pulling everything in, now the only thing we need to do is to power up the machine. So take the power cable and just plug it in like this, and hopefully the screen should boot up just like this. So here we are, guys, on the boot screen. So now what we have to do is to add an operating system. But before we do that, when you firstly boot up, you have to decide which settings you want to use, like Wi-Fi settings or wired connection. So then when you set up this and you press OK, then you get popped up to the second screen. So let's wait a second so it boots up. So this is the second screen you get right after that one. So you have to press Add OS. Now here you can decide which operating system would you like to run. So firstly you can select Debian. You can use Android, Ubuntu, like many versions of Linux. You even have Kali Linux right over here. Then you have Poppy Alpha. This is kind of more friendly user experience. Plus you have the basic operating system, but this one is probably for beginners if you don't have much experience with Linux. If you have more experience, then I recommend to use Kali Linux. But here you have the Raspbian version, you have the Sugar, then we have some memtest utility. This is for testing your memory if it has any issues. And this is kind of it, guys. Like, there is nothing else you can literally do here. The problem is you still can't install Windows 10 from here, so I won't install any operating system because I've already done this on another SD card. I've installed Kali Linux. So if you'd like to see how the boot up works, just write down in the comments. Otherwise, see you in the next video when we will be testing Windows 10 on Raspberry Pi, guys. So bye. That's all for today.